Yeah, I mean, I guess I kind of wanted to talk about the fine-tuning argument, if that's fine.
You want to talk about the fight? Okay, wait, are you an atheist or a Christian or what?
I'm an atheist.
Okay, gotcha. Well, we're doing the prompt here, right? So evil's evidence for God, the Trinity's in the Bible, atheism doesn't work.
Yeah, but I thought part of the reason that atheism doesn't work is because you think atheism fails to explain the data, and then part of that data is just that there's fine-tuning.
If you want to talk about the fine tuning, sure, we can talk about it.
Yeah,
It's not really a data point that I use, but that's fine.
oh, okay. I mean, I'll be happy to talk about other data points afterwards, but yeah, I mean, do you think that?
Real fast, I do want to say,
Yeah.
like, I do think the fine tuning argument is something just generally fun to talk about. Like, I think it's just an interesting topic. Now, I don't know how the audience is going to feel. Like, I don't know if you're someone like well versed in this, and so I want to make sure like I'm kind of balancing the audience. So if we get into the weeds, like, I don't want to do that. But if you want to talk about fine tuning, we can. I think it's a fun topic.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I guess. Do you think that? Do you agree that the prior probability of fair design is like less than or equal to the prior probability of fair non-design?
I've seen this article before. I've seen it. I remember this one. I remember this one. Yes, I vaguely remember this one. Um, oh man, I forget what was there was two parts to this one. Um, I mean, it's gonna depend on a couple of factors, right? I have no dog in this particular fight. It's gonna depend on particular factors. One, like what are we using as our prior assessments, right? If we're just gonna be using like a flat distribution, like indifference, whatever the case may be, right? Then I want to look at the propositions equally. If it's gonna be something different, like simplicity constraints, right? I want to look at which account of simplicity we're gonna be working with because that's gonna get us different results. If we're using something else like uniformity or coherence or something like that, then that's going to give us different results as well. So it really depends on what framework we're using to assess the priors in that way. Are you going with just like kind of an indifference constraint here or something
I'm
else?
not. I'm not taking a view. I'm just wondering if on your assessment of the priors, the prior probability of there being a
Well, so
single
my
universe. That's
this is again, this is the problem with getting into the weeds because how I assess priors is a very specific way. So are you someone you see if you know about this article, then you're probably someone interested in philosophy.
yeah.
Okay, real fast, what's your are you studying it? Are you like what's your background?
Yeah. I'm an undergraduate.
That's what's up. And what specific? What do you hope to go into? Philosophy of religion, epistemology, metaphysics,
Philosophy of mind.
philosophy of mind. Okay, so are you a physicalist?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We'll work on that. Okay. So, are you familiar with? Dang, dude, I don't even want to get into this because this is just. Let's see. So, are you familiar with explanationism?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't see how that's relevant.
What do you mean?
Like, I mean, all I'm looking for right now is just a clear answer on whether or not you think that fair design is going to have a lower than or equal to
Well, yeah,
prior to.
I understand. I'm getting there. Right. What I'm saying is I think that any kind of probability assigning is going to be dictated by some kind of more fundamental higher order theory that I'm already working with that's going to function as an explanation already, right? And so I'm not treating bare design as basic or bare non-design as basic. That's going to be downstream from something more basic. And what I'm saying is I don't necessarily know if that's how the argument functions or what that is before I can even make that claim, right? And that's going to be some framework, right, that I'm using to assess it either based on uniformity or indifference or whatever the case may be. If it's indifference, right, if we're just going to do the flat distribution and the propositions are equal here, then we can assign them both 0.5. Like that's what that would seem to be. Like that's
Like,
not really
I'm just like
that
roughly
interesting.
asking, like, so is it true that you have a higher rational credence in
Well,
the proposition?
I know what you're asking, right? What I'm saying is if we're just going to be going off of like some kind of indifference, like the principle of indifference, and using that as our higher order, consistent with how I would do things, then they're just going to be 0.5, like across the
Okay,
board.
so you would
If we're
assign.
using that, I'm just playing around with it. Like if we're using that, but like
Yeah, I'm asking what
what's the thing that
I'm
you want to
asking
get
what
your
your
result?
yeah, I'm asking what your view is. Unless, I mean, maybe you just don't have a view.
I'm just playing around with models right now, right? I don't remember like the whole
Yeah, but
argument
like, I'm
behind
asking what your view is.
I I'm honestly I can't really say. I'm perfectly fine with point 0.5 if we're going to use an indifference model. Like if we could, let's like again, I think we're under the same impression that we're going to be kind of playing around with this argument for fun right now. So if we just test out what indifference does, like let's see what happens. Let's
Okay,
assign them
so
0.5 for fun.
we're being indifferent, and then yeah, do you agree that the probability of life conditional on fair design is less than or equal to the probability that there's life running conditions conditional on fair non-design?
Life, um,
Life running conditions.
life or any conditions. Yeah. So
Yeah.
this was one of the things that I remember from the article, which was I was thinking it really depends on like what's already built into the proposition of bare design. Because if what's already built into the proposition of bare design overlaps with how we're defining the data of life permitting conditions, then you already kind of have a consonant data point there, that's going to favor much more bare design than bare non-design.
Bare design is just the hypothesis that there's a single universe that's designed.
Right. And what I'm saying is how you define the word design. If what's already conceptually baked into that word, whatever that word means, if that's going to overlap or partially overlap, right, with how we're defining the data of life permitting conditions, then there's going to be then that outcome space, the majority of that outcome space compared to bare non-design is actually going to favor bare design. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I'm asking like on the so all I roughly mean by design.
Wait, real fast before we move on, because you kind of want to keep asking your question.
I'll
Do you
just repeat
understand what I'm saying when I say that?
Yeah, I'll repeat the point that you're making.
Okay,
It sounds like you're saying that if the term design is being defined in such a way where you'll get some favoring for life permitting universes over non-life permitting universes, then you would think that the probability of life conditional and bare design will exceed the probability that there's life conditional and bare non-design.
Well, it's not a favoring built in. What I'm saying is that the content of the proposition that we're trying to explain, life permitting conditions, I'm saying that content, if that content is already a part of what we mean by design, that how we're defining design, that content already overlaps with the content of our proposition, then I'm saying then that is a way in which you can validly motivate bare design having a higher likelihood.
Yeah, all I roughly mean by design is that it's like created by mind. So that's what I have in mind.
Yeah. So that's how you're doing with it. How did the article originally define it?
I don't know if design was defined in it.
Okay.
But just take the definition of design that I gave.
Yeah. So because design is going to have teleological language in it, and if the idea that life permitting conditions are such that it already lands within a range that would have a disposition, right?
Wait, all I'm trying to
then that's gonna go hand in hand. Like that's kind of hand in glove.
Wait, all I'm trying to figure out right now is just if you think that the conditional probability, so the probability of life conditional and bare design, is going to be less than or equal to the probability of life conditional and bare non-design.
It's going to depend on the conceptual content of both.
Yeah, I'm talking about the definition that I gave.
Okay, so you're saying that created by a mind. That's what you mean by it.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Do you think that minds are about things?
Wait, how is that? Okay, I mean, like, I'm happy to answer, but how is that telling me which one? How's that telling me whether or not you sign off on the claim about the posteriors exactly?
Yeah, you can just ask me like kind of how I want to unpack those terms. What I mean by that is if minds have thoughts and thoughts are about things.
Right? So you're asking if I think that in order for something to count as a mind, it needs to have intentional properties? Yeah.
Okay, right. Okay, so we see something that's very much resembled in that in life permitting conditions, right?
I don't know what you mean by that, but also it's not clear.
How are you understanding life permitting conditions?
Yeah, I'm roughly understanding them as the conditions in the universe being in such a way where it permits life. I mean.
Yeah, but that's either a thick concept or a thin concept. Let's unpack that a little bit further, right?
Sure, but like
we don't want both sides on the equal side. We're here. What does it mean if something is life is? What do we mean by life permitting conditions?
So right now we're talking about what it means to say there's life permitting conditions.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, kind of roughly what I said earlier. So like, it's that the constants in the universe are arranged in such a way that
let's bring up Jason Waller's book. Let's bring up an expert in fine-tuning. Let's see how you define.
Yeah, but like, when are we going to get an answer to the question?
Well, I mean, I'm going about this how I would usually go about anything. If you don't want to talk to me anymore about it, it's fine. But that's how I'm going.
No, I mean, I'm just interested in getting an answer to the question.
Well, we're having a conversation. We're going through it. We're going through the process. You brought up the question. This is how I'm doing it. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna. This is how I'm doing it. I don't know. Okay, let me look up Waller's. So he had a really good definition for this. Let's see. Okay, so tell me if you would agree with this. So we say that a constant of physics C is fine-tuned for life if the width W of R of sub R of the range of values of the constant that permit or are optimal for the existence of intelligent life is small compared to the width sub R of some properly chosen comparison range of R the range R of life permitting values is determined via physical calculations. Would you say you're somewhere in that ballpark?
Yeah. So wait, what's the answer to the question? Yes or no, though?
Well, I'm asking so we can see if
Yeah,
we disagree on
the
terms or
answer
not.
is yes, and then now I'm re-asking the question.
Yeah, we're trying to get square on terms right now. Is this what you would you land somewhere in here?
Yeah, I already answered yes.
Okay, so you'd be fine with that. Okay, so for me then, like, it seems already contained in there. Like, what would mean for a constant to fall within the boundary conditions of physics that are already geared towards the production of life? It seems that we can actually do some kind of teleological mapping from the thought-like structure to the structure of the actual life permitting conditions, which would be how the physics is. And to me, that'd be like, okay, well then that's kind of what we would expect. But if you disagree with that, that's perfectly fine. But that's just kind of the way that I see it.
Okay, so is that a no to the question?
Which being?
It's the question, do you think that the probability of life permitting conditions, conditional on bare design,
Yeah,
is less than
okay, yeah, gotcha. So I'm making it very clear, very simple. If what I'm saying goes through, then the likelihood is just positively discriminate in favor of bare design over bare non-design.
Okay, so that's a no. Yeah, nice. And then now what I'm interested in is just getting an argument for the claim that that proposition is false.
Which proposition is false?
The one we were just talking about?
Oh, what is it? So we've already kind of been at this point of the conversation where I'm saying that, or do you need me to unpack how I'm actually motivating there being a higher likelihood based on the majority of the outcome space already?
I'm just trying to get an argument that life permitting conditions are more likely on bare design than they are on.
Well, I'm thinking that if life permitting conditions already match the conceptual content in some way.
But what does it even
mean
to say?
Hypothesis of bare design. Wait, hold on. Why are you interrupting me before I'm even finishing?
Because I'm confused on a term you're using.
Okay, that's fine. Just wait for me to finish here. But if there's already kind of a conceptual match there, like internally between the two, then it sounds like if we look at the outcome space of life permitting conditions, right, it seems like there would be a chunk of that space that would go towards the hypothesis, in favor of the hypothesis of bare design than bare non-design, given that there's a conceptual match between the two already inherent in their content.
Yeah, and then what does it mean to say there's a conceptual match?
Yeah, so how we defined our terms in terms of design, what it means to design something, what it means for there to be a mind that's responsible for designing something, and the fact that life permitting conditions, right? Life permitting conditions are set up at such that there is a teleological or a telic trajectory towards life that is inherent already in the very concept of design. If I design something, there is a telic trajectory towards what I'm designing.
Okay, so
hold on. Do you disagree with how I'm using the terms or not?
No, I don't understand what's even being said.
Okay. All right, man. We're getting into the weeds here, and that's not what I wanted to do. I appreciate you though.
Kylo, no, bro. I'm not trying to go on your YouTube channel, bro. Not yet. I need to do more studying.